Howdy, soldiers. Happy 2025! Cheers, y'all, we made it. I hope you all had a nice and festive New Year's party. I am planning on posting this either New Year's Day or the day afterward, so I'm so sorry if your condition of having too much fun on New Year's means that you don't want to hear someone yelling at you. And if that's the case, well, I don't really know what to tell you. But what I do know to tell you is to buckle up, because we're gonna start the year off spicy, because I got a fresh coffee and some flamin' hot opinions. Hot takes, get your hot takes here. I have so many bookish hot takes that I have been sitting on, just waiting, hoarding, if you will, for maybe a good part of 2 years, and today I'm going to open the floodgates. I'm hanging up my emotional intelligence. RIP to my critical thinking skills. Nuance is dead. You know, nuance, the thing that the internet loves. Now, all of these are in good fun and in good faith, so if you disagree with some of these, that's fine. I just want to have a little spicy fun to start off 2025. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in, and join me for a whole lot of bookish hot takes. To be truthful, I have no idea how many are actually on this list, and I'm not gonna do it in any particular order, so 2025, chaos reigns. Hot take number 1, books are not sacred objects. You can write in them, you can dog-ear them, you can write in highlights, you can rip pages out, do whatever you want with it, it's yours. I just don't understand people who are on their metaphorical high horses over, oh, you dog-ear pages, like, oh my god, the guillotine for you. Like, if you lend a pretty good condition copy of a book to a friend and it comes back looking like someone chucked it in the Thames and like a prehistoric creature took a bite out of it, then like, yeah, I can understand how you'd be a little upset over the condition of it. The idea that people have of books being these sacred, most pristine objects that you can't crack the spine and you can't dog-ear a single page and a pen of any kind must not come within 10,000 leagues of this particular work. It's just some words printed on paper. It's okay. Now, of course, this could go into a larger discussion, and one that I've literally had on this channel before, about where is the line between a book being a physical embodiment of a story and it becoming a consumable object that's more aesthetic than what it's used for its actual purpose. But we're not having that conversation today, okay? Because nuance has left the chat. Oh my god, I am already sweating. Number 2 is that authors don't deserve my praise. But just because you wrote something and published it online does not mean that I have to be nice to you and praise your work and give you 5 stars. It just doesn't. And if you think that's mean of me, then I don't think that you're in the right industry. Does it bode well for the rest of the year that you see editing Rachel in the first video of 2025? Who knows? But the sound for this portion was really weird, so hi, you get me. Just because you made a thing does not automatically make that thing good, nor does it make you above critique. Because it all comes down to, do I, the consumer of the product, because your book is a product, do I think it was worth the value that I exchange money for in regards to my expectations of it? And unfortunately, even if you love doing a thing, sometimes you're bad at it, even if you love it. And of course, taste is subjective, so maybe something that I find annoying, you find totally fine, but what was that? Nuance? Get out of here. My next take is the flip of that one, whereas I don't owe authors any of my praise, authors don't owe the reader anything. They can write whatever they want. This comes up a little bit more when we're talking about inclusion and diversity, right? So many books are white main characters, there's no disability rep, there's no people of color. When it's like, really, authors, they can write about whatever the hell they want. It's their story. It can be as uninclusive as they want it to be. There could be no diversity. There could be horrible, racist, homophobic stuff in it, and I can't really tell them to do anything differently. Now, of course, there are always consequences to your actions, so an author can't really hide behind saying, well, I just don't want to include anybody because it's my story and I can do whatever I want. Because it's like, yeah, you can, but then knowing that, you have to also know that there will be people who are mad at you and people who will not read your work and shun you from the industry. So, just a give and take. I think reading books and buying books are 2 separate hobbies that come together in a Venn diagram. Just a little difficult to do with holding a mic. And of course, there's a bigger conversation to be had about consumerism and value, but sorry, Nuance can't come to the phone right now. She's dead. Because take it from me, I love reading books, but I also love buying books. You don't have to buy books to read books. You can get free online ebooks. You can get library books. But there is something about having a physical copy of a story that you can read and enjoy and take your time with that has like a tactile a tactile function. And then after you're finished it, you can put it with the collection of other things that your book dragon has made you hoard. Because buying books is fun. You're like, oh, I'm gonna exchange my hard-earned monetary money dollars for possibly the best story that I've ever had told to me in my life. The possibility, it's so there, it's so good. And if you buy books just for the aesthetic, why do I care? Like, buy them. Who cares? You're supporting an author. Moving on. Perhaps a medium spice hot take is that I absolutely hate book titles that are song lyrics. You should see me in a crown, part of your world, don't want you like a best friend. Especially the Taylor Swift lyrics being used as titles. I hate this trend so much. And some of them are like, okay, you know, if you squint, like, the term begin again does not belong to Taylor Swift, obviously. That's something people have been saying for a long time. But we have so many contemporary romance books that are Don't Want You Like a Best Friend, Begin Again, All Too Well, Better Than Revenge, Enchanted to Meet You. Like, Jesus, stop it, stop it. Now, this is actually part of a bigger, more interesting conversation that I saw my friend Bailey, aka Great Choir Reads on TikTok, talk about, like, back in the summer, so I feel bad. Here's her channel. Go support her. And she was talking about how these titled books are kind of like a wink wink to the Taylor Swift community to find each other, and also to indicate that this book may have similar themes to those in Taylor Swift songs. But I'm just like, make a playlist. Why is Look What You Made Me Do a book title? It's a bad title. Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn. You know what? I have a bunch of cover and title related ones, so let's just get all those hot takes out of the way. This may be opposite to a lot of people who are burned out on the a blank of blank and blank way of naming things, but goddamn, do I love a long-ass title. I feed her to the beast and the beast is me. Bury our bones in the midnight soil. The girl who circumvented fairyland in a ship of her own making. Oh, those just make something in the back of my head go burr. Like, if I have to take a breath halfway through the title, we're winning over here. I do fully blame the institution that handed me my English degree for making me love this, but I have always loved purple prose and like beautiful, overly explained things. So maybe that's why. I'm pulling out my Guy Fieri flame shirt for this next hot take. It's not that hot, but it has a little heat behind it, you know. We're entering Flavor Town as we talk about this next one. And that is, I think cartoon covers are so ugly and overused. At first, when they started doing this back in like 2018 or something, it was cute, it was fun, it was fresh and flirty, but then oh my god, the market oversaturation has led me to cartoon cover burnout when I didn't even like them in the first place. Because now publishers are smacking a cartoon cover on any book that has even a lick of romance in it because, ooh, it's what sells right now. But then you can't even tell what the tone of the book is gonna be. Like, why did Bride by Ali Hazelwood have a cartoon cover? Why? That is not what that book is supposed to have. And because of the style of cartoon, a lot of them look much younger than they are. So I can't tell if this is supposed to be a hot, sexy, smutty adult romance or if this is supposed to be like a fun, cutesy, flirty YA novel. And I want to be able to tell the difference. Now, maybe for the hottest take of this video, buckle up, get your flame retardant suits ready, get your fire extinguishers on hand. A Court of Thorns and Roses girlies need to get the fuck over themselves. Oh shit. Your weekly reminder that Sarah J Maas did not invent romantasy. She did not invent fairies. She did not invent the idea of Shadow Daddy Rhysand, okay? She's also kind of a horrible person. She said bad things about fellow authors. She's used the Black Lives Matter movement to advertise her own book, which, like, girl, what the fuck? Her books have big white savior moments and very unhealthy relationship dynamics. I was once there, okay? I get it. Her books are compulsively readable. There's some fun romance. Ooh, there's some sexy, dark backstory and a sad, hot guy with wings. I get it. I get it, okay? Babes, I know you finally found a book that you really like, that has romance and fantasy and a man who does feminism until the third book, but you gotta put it down, okay? You gotta stop giving money to this lady. There are so many other fantastic fantasy romance books with fairies, with dragons, with mermaids, with girls with magic swords who have much better understandings of relationships and politics and fantasy worlds, okay? I promise they're out there. Fuck it. Should I make the Fourth Wing people mad too? Might as well. It's 2025. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm turning 30 this year. Who cares? And well, I also read and somewhat enjoyed Fourth Wing. Okay, she's over there. She's on the shelf, okay? I read her. Relax. I think Fourth Wing is incredibly poorly written and is only popular because it feeds into American individualism and the heroic military complex. As Crimson Rogue on YouTube put it, I've been too kind to this series. I've literally only read the first one. I'm not going to be reading the rest of them because it's like, you've been fighting this war for 600 years and you never once asked why? Interesting. You know what? Fuck it. My other hot take, my like Dante's Inferno of hot takes, is that if you have your Harry Potter house still in your bio, I will block you. If your whole personal brand still, at this point, revolves around loving Harry Potter, oh no, I'm totally cool with gay people and trans people, and like, I don't want to be racist and stuff. Okay, well, you are continuing to buy in and support the people that do think those things. So, hot take that doesn't really make you any better. I'll put my emotional intelligence hat back on for like 2 seconds, okay? Bear with me. I understand that for Sarah J. Maas, for J.K. Rowling, these series mean a lot to many, many people. But if you want to continue to support it, you still have to think, now that you are an adult with critical thinking skills, that you are supporting someone who is doing harm to other people. So if you want to continue to engage with that media, you're going to have to figure out a way to do that without supporting those people. Maybe you support local artists who do Harry Potter fan art. Maybe you buy the book secondhand. Just something to think about. Books with bisexual characters continue to be the most misrepresented of LGBTQ books. Now, I know I may be biased, but I also think I'm right. I've actually been thinking about doing a video essay on this topic for a long time, so if that sounds interesting, please let me know in the comments. The age-old, oh, if you're with someone of the opposite sex, then you're obviously heterosexual and being gay was just a phase. And if you end up with someone of the same gender, then, oh, you were gay all along and you were faking being straight, which, like, it's literally not how bisexuality works. Books with bisexual main characters or main side characters, they are proven to be bisexual by dating someone of the same gender. I've read books where the main two characters are in a heterosexual facing relationship, like cis man and cis woman who are dating, but both of them have been stated to be bisexual, and people don't count that because they're like, oh, well, they are a straight couple. They're literally not a straight couple. They both said that they're bisexual, so yes, that is a queer book. I've literally done whole videos on how queer people do not owe you romance to prove that they're queer. Like, I have plenty of books where the main character does not have a love interest, there's no romance in the book, but it's still a queer book because the main character has said that they are queer. So any book with a bisexual main character, it's just, oh, well, if it's a guy, then they're gay. This is a gay romance. And if it's two women together, oh, this is a sapphic romance. But there's like no nuance in there. I would still be a sapphic if I was dating a man, but you don't want to have to read a book where a guy and a girl are dating and call it sapphic. No, I get it. We don't want men in sapphic spaces because men are not sapphic. But then what about trans men? So, like, they're allowed in sapphic spaces. We're all trying to fit things into nice little individual boxes when really it's just a big rainbow watercolor Venn diagram. Next flame to add to the fire is that blurbs written in first person are annoying and childish, and I won't read your book if you have a first person blurb. Hello again. I definitely meant to say synopsis and not blurb, so for the next like 2 minutes, every time you hear me say the word blurb, I do not mean blurb, I mean synopsis. I've waited my whole life for this, but then on the eve of my birthday, I was betrayed, and now I'm running away under the watchful eye of him. He's so soft, so strong, but I don't know how much longer I can resist his urges until I'm drawn into his dark, forbidden world forever. Like, oh my god, girl, shut up. Most of these do show up in romance books, particularly new adult romance books. Like, I get that it's a very specific voice, but I just hate it. It's so annoying. Come across as so young sounding. So I have a hard time enjoying myself hearing about you getting railed in a sundress when your internal monologue sounds like you're a 14-year-old being like, oh, his emerald eyes were like swirling pools of jade and I never knew I could feel this way. Like, girl, grow up. You're 24. Literally, I have gone online ready to purchase. I have my pre-order finger ready to click that button, and then I see that the blurb is in first person, and I'm like, and we're clicking out of this tab. I don't know why I irrationally hate first-person synopsi, but I do, and I will not be taking questions at this time. We're descending to another level of hell and opening up a new can of worms, because I think second to the 4-hour work week grifter bros readers are the dark romance girlies. I literally can hear people in the distance right now, burn the witch! What is with dark romance readers not willing to think critically about their chosen genre for more than half a second? And that half a second is only to yell at someone for being judgy. Dark romance is desensitizing people to real life dangers and actively romanticizing violence and abuse. Because dark romance readers, where it's the only thing that they read, are not interacting with their media in a healthy way. I've had many people yell at me about this, and if I can inject a slight bit of nuance into this, I know that the genre is meant to explore things that are taboo. And I don't have a problem with you wanting to read stories about trauma or kink. However, the problem is when you become vehemently hostile towards people who critique your genre. I literally did a whole video on this. As much as it is not my place to judge you and your decisions, I ultimately do think there are major issues with the dark romance community. It's just fantasy, it's not real, it's my kink, you can't judge me. Okay, well, I think that you're re-traumatizing yourself over and over again without ever critically thinking about why you continue to go back to that genre, and you are subconsciously changing the way that you think about men and their behaviors, which I would say none of is good. Oh, hot take. I love a dark theme. I love morally gray characters, but when your love interest assaults the main character for 200 pages and then they fall in love, yeah, I have a problem with that, and I don't think that that should be something that's being published and actively romanticized, especially to a younger audience. And if that's wrong to think that way, lock me up. My next sizzling hot take is that men don't read enough. And I fully do understand that this could just be the algorithms and niches that I have found myself in over the years. But every time I go to a book event, every time I open TikTok, every time I'm at a bookstore, women outnumber men like 15 to 1. And the men that I do know that read are only reading like self-help books or like Stephen Graham thrillers. And I'm just like, that's so boring. Of course, people are allowed to read whatever they want to read, and some people just don't enjoy reading, which like, I don't get that. But okay, baby, why are you limiting yourself so much? Is reading like a girly thing? And then, oh, why are you so upset about being perceived as feminine? Is being feminine bad? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, do you not like fun? Like, pick up a romance novel, pick up a cool new fantasy that's not like a Robert Jordan book from like 1981. And I guess this is part of a larger conversation on how men under patriarchy are harmed because they have to constantly be like bettering themselves to become like the most masculine and the most healthy and the person who makes the most money and whatever. And then the only books that they're like allowed to read are like war books about World War II or like dense fantasy novels where the men are jacked and the women breast boobily around because that's like what men read. But it's like, come on, man. Pick up something for fun. Don't you want to have fun? Men can read. I know you can. And even if you don't like physical books, because a lot of my guy friends, when I ask them, they're like, oh, I don't like reading. I'm like, audiobooks. If you love like the Marvel movies, pick up an audiobook that has an ensemble voice cast. You are gonna have the time of your freaking life. And last, but certainly not least, I have one to wrap up this video that's a little bit less dynamic. It's a little bit less of an inferno and more of like a gentle sizzle. As you can see from my shelves behind me, I do not care that I have a combination of hardcover and softcover. I said this a couple of years ago on TikTok, I think, and people in the comments were very upset, like surprisingly upset over the fact that, oh, they're all mismatched in this series or half hardcover and half softcover and it looks crazy and I can't believe that you would do this. And I'm just like, baby girl, hardcovers are expensive. Also, as a book blogger for like 10 years, I have gotten a lot of advanced copies and those are always softcover. And so like, I'm not gonna buy another copy. I also tend to be late to picking up series. So if half the series is out already and they're in softcover and then like the final book comes out and it's hardcover, I'm gonna read it right away. I don't wanna have to wait another year. I'm bad at reading sequels as it is. You're lucky that I even have that sequel on my shelf. And personally, seeing the variety and variation of different book sizes and like textures, I think it looks good. Like sometimes it is a little frustrating when I'm trying to like organize a shelf and there's just one book that's like a little bit too big. I'm like, oh, I wish I had softcover this one. But like, minor complaint. And that's that on that. Sorry, this coffee is really cold. There you have it. There are a inferno's worth of hot takes. We sizzled, we crackled, we ignited. Please leave down below your bookish hot takes because I want to hear them. And I have more. Like I can make a part 2. So let me know if there's anything that you want me to rant about on your behalf, because I will. Damn, we are coming in hot for the new year, no pun intended. I feel like this video is either gonna get me a whole lot of subscribers or all of you are just gonna leave. Now I am pre-filming this, so I hope all of you had a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. If you're somebody who likes to make resolutions and goals, then I wish you all the best on those. And for the people who like me, who've decided that 2025 is just gonna be the year of chaos, handshake it out, my friend. In fact, you want to join me and the rest of the cult that I've cobbled together who's going to be doing that? We're going to be meeting at midnight outside the AMW by the mall to talk about next steps. In all seriousness, I am very excited for 2025. There's going to be a couple of big events in my life, and the reading lists for this year are freaking stacked, no pun intended. So let us resurrect media literacy, write our local governments, and become ungovernable in 2025. The sun's gone down and I've had too much caffeine. We better wrap up this video before I try and start a riot. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!